Hello, everyone, and many thanks for joining this stream. Morning news from Moscow. Today is 26th of May. Now it's 11 o'clock, and I have prepared quite a number of important news on some major developments. And I hope you find this program informative and useful. Of course, many thanks to all the members of our community who will join later on or will watch this video after the stream ends. And so without further delay, let's go through some news. And well, there is quite a stuff is that are happening, dear friends. Probably you already know about statements that US President Donald Trump made in regards to Russian president. He was extremely insulting to all Russian citizens, not just to Russian president. And well, I will go through this topic in details now. So RT is reporting that Trump claims that Putin has gone absolutely crazy for no reason. So US President Donald Trump has claimed that Moscow targeted Ukraine for no reason whatsoever after Russia launched a series of missile strikes against military targets in Kiev and other locations following a week of constant Ukrainian drone raids involving hundreds of drones, thousands actually, by the way. And you know what? Let's read his statement. He posted, by the way, he gave the interview to some media outlets, and he also wrote on his True Social network. Let's just read it, and you tell me how insane this person really is. I mean, if anybody is insane, then I guess this is a Trump. I was too naive, I guess, because I had some hopes that maybe Trump and his administration will use off-ramp that Russia created basically for US to just exit this proxy war against Russia. And I was mistaken, by the way. Unfortunately, I was just too naive, I guess. Although my initial instinct was correct, if you remember, dear friends, some time ago, when first contacts began between Trump's administration and the Russian side, I was saying straight away that this is meaningless stuff. You cannot trust these people in U.S. administration, and that initial instinct was correct. But then, after all, we all want to see the escalation, isn't it? And probably that human moment prevailed there in myself, and I become a little more optimistic, but I was wrong. I have to admit that. And Trump actually proved that I was wrong while making this statement. Let's read it. This is a quote from his statement. You can see it on your screen, dear friends. So I've always had a very good relationships with Vladimir Putin of Russia, but something has happened to him. He has gone absolutely crazy. He is needlessly killing a lot of people, and I'm not just talking about soldiers. Missiles and drones are being shot into cities in Ukraine for no reason whatsoever. I always said that he wants all of Ukraine, not just a piece of it, and maybe that's proving to be right. But if he does, it will lead to downfall of Russia, Trump is saying. And then he went to talk about freaking Zelensky. I don't really care about what Trump has to say whatsoever after today, by the way, right? Especially about Zelensky, who is clearly nobody, just a freaking whore of the globalists, right? So why should I spend time on that? So you tell me, dear friends, what you are making from this absolutely insane, insulting statement of Trump. He is basically, while saying that Russia is targeting, military and logistical infrastructure. That's what Russia targets, right? Military and logistical infrastructure on Kiev regime's territory, Kiev controlled territory. Trump is saying that this is happening for no reason whatsoever. He did not mention thousands of drones that were targeting Russian cities in last number of days, including Moscow, by the way. He did not mention the recent attempt of globalists and their puppet regimes, including Kiev regime, to assassinate Putin when his helicopter ended up being in epicenter of drone strikes. He said nothing. And while saying that, while mentioning that Russia is targeting these sites in Kiev-controlled territory for no reason, he basically ignores or devaluates lives of Russian citizens, right? That were killed and injured as a result of strikes, terrorist attacks of Kiev regime. You tell me how insulting is that for people here in Russia? When US president basically devaluates life of Russian people completely. This is crazy, man. This is absolutely crazy. And then he went to insult Putin directly, saying that he's gone absolutely crazy. I mean, these statements definitely not gonna fly, by the way. And Trump, while making such statements, basically killed off last opportunity, in my personal opinion, for US to walk away from this proxy war while saving the face. No such a chance will be given from now on. So Trump basically killed the future of US. I can tell you that. And US is going down together with Europe. Mark my words, by the way. That's what is going to happen. So let's now go back to some other news. And for example, very same Trump basically is working now, considers new sanctions against Russia. Things like neocons, absolutely establish their control over the White House. If before now we had some doubts that maybe some adequate people in Trump's administration will prevail, now there can be no doubts that neocons establish full control over the White House. And therefore, soon we should expect new waves of US sanctions against Russia, also US secondary sanctions against countries that are cooperating with Russia. And very soon, maybe in upcoming days, upcoming weeks, most likely, Trump will address Congress for funds to allocate more weapons for Kiev regime. So large-scale escalation is coming, by the way. And as I said, US is going down. US will never have a chance again to walk away from this proxy war with, while saving the face. Trump blew it up. They had such opportunity. Putin created the off-ramp for that, but Trump and the US neocons blew it up. So whatever is going to happen from now on, by the way, responsibility is on US leadership, on Trump, his administration, neocons, and everyone else that is involved. And also, this reporter, I did spoke about this particular news yesterday during the community chat live stream, but I think it's worth mentioning once again that Europe plans to buy weapons from US to provide their proxy in Kiev. So European countries are considering purchasing large quantities of weapons from the United States to continue supporting Kiev as their own stockpiles are depleted and production is limited, Bloomberg reports. And of course, White House, there can be no doubts after what Trump just stated about Russia, Russian people, lives of the Russian people, and also Russian president. I mean, there can be no doubts that, of course, White House will authorize whatever weapons Europeans will purchase. And in addition to that, as I already said, in upcoming days, most likely, White House will ask Congress to allocate another, additional billions, potentially tens of billions of dollars to provide the regime with more weapons directly from US and financed by US taxpayers, not just Europeans. But Europeans most likely will receive whatever weapons they will request for Kiev regime, as long as they pay. Also, and this whole stuff is happening, by the way, while Kiev regime continues with the assistance of NATO member states, of course, to launch these waves of drone attacks deep into Russian territory. And TASS news agency is reporting that during the last night, early hours of this morning, air defense systems on duty intercepted 96 Ukrainian drones over their number of regions. I can give you some more specific information on that. So 31 drones from these 96 were intercepted over the Bryansk region, 16 drones over the Belgorod region, 11 drones over the Kursk region, 9 drones over Tula region, 8 drones over Oriol region, 6 drones over Moscow region. As I said, Moscow is constantly targeted, by the way. This morning, there was reports that number of airports around Moscow introduced some emergency measures for safety reasons, for security reasons, due to yet another drone strike from Kiev regime in direction of Moscow. 5 drones were intercepted also over the Kaluga region, 4 drones over the Ivanovo region, 2 drones over the Ryazan region, 2 over Vladimir region, 1 over Yaroslav, and 1 over the Republic of Tatarstan. So, I mean, while this is happening, Trump is saying that Russia is conducting these long-range precise strikes on military and logistical infrastructure of the Kiev regime for no reason. I mean, how insulting is that? I don't know. And I think there will be no more talks, by the way, between Putin and Trump, phone conversations, and definitely there are going to be no face-to-face meeting between these two, by the way, because Trump does not deserve any respect from anybody whatsoever. He is a whore of the neocons, whore of the globalists, and that's it. And I am ashamed that, I had at some point, I was that naive that I was really thinking that maybe there is a chance for the escalation. Maybe Trump, his administration are serious about de-escalating with Russia, but they are not, by the way. And my apologies for being that naive. And now, by the way, after Trump's statements, I think maybe he was also briefed on the topic of assassination of Russian president. Yesterday, during live stream community chat, I shared information that Putin's helicopter was caught in a Ukrainian drone swarm while he was visiting Kursk region just a couple of days ago. And of course, by the way, there is only a few countries in this world that have enough satellite intelligence to track movement of aircraft, helicopters included, that are serving Russian president in real time, right? First of all, US, by the way. US has such capabilities to constantly monitor movements of their whatever aircrafts Russian president is using. And as we all know, dear friends, UK is a part of this Five Eye conglomerate of intelligence services, and US shares basically in real time intelligence with these Five Eyes countries, among them obviously UK. And yesterday, while commenting on this news, I said that most likely this attack on Russian president, this attempt to assassinate Russian president, was authorized by Prime Minister of UK, Keir Starmer. But now when Trump made these crazy statements, these absolutely insulting statements to Russian people, to Russia, to Russian president, I think potentially Trump was also briefed on this matter. And he and Keir Starmer, they both authorized this attack. And this is an act of war, by the way. If this is not an act of war, then I don't know what other designation you can give to such a hostile action. Let's go through details here. The helicopter carrying Russian President Vladimir Putin was caught in the epicenter of massive Ukrainian drone attack while the president was visiting Kursk region earlier last week. Yuri Dashkin, a commander of an air defense division, has revealed Putin traveled to Russia's Kursk region on Tuesday for the first time since it was fully liberated from invading Ukrainian forces and the NATO mercenaries in the Kursk salient area. During this trip, the president met with the governor of the region, Alexander Hinstein, as well as the heads of local municipalities and volunteers who have been helping those affected by the now repulsed Ukrainian incursion, according to Kremlin. In an interview with the Channel 1 TV station, or with the interview, during the interview with the Channel Russia 1 station aired on Sunday, Dashkin, this commander of the Air Defense Division, revealed that Putin's helicopter had found itself in the epicenter of operation to repel a massive drone attack by their enemy in the Kursk region. Kiev launched an unprecedented drone assault on the region when their president was there, with Russian air defense destroyed 46 incoming fixed-wing drones, according to Dashkin. And we have quote here, I would like to stress that the fact that the intensity of the attack during the flight of their Supreme Commander-in-Chief aircraft over the territory of Kursk region increased significantly, he said. The air defense units in the area had to simultaneously conduct anti-aircraft combat and ensure the safety of the president's helicopter in the air. The task was accomplished. The attack of the enemy drones were repelled, with all aerial targets being neutralized, Dashkin stated. So clearly, dear friends, this is an attempt to assassinate Russian president. There is no other explanation for sure can be given. And once again, Kiev regime has no intelligence capabilities, has no satellite intelligence capabilities to track movement of aircrafts that are used by Russian president or any other high-ranking officials, by the way. But unfortunately, US has such a capabilities, such a orbital grouping of satellites, and US and the European states too, by the way, few European states. But of course, main force is US in the collective West countries, and as I already mentioned, US is sharing basically in real-time intelligence with this Five Eyes group, among them UK. And I think Kiev regime and US and British militaries and intelligence assets on Kiev-controlled territory was given order from Washington and London to carry out attempt to this operation to assassinate Russian president. And their targeting data for these drones were obviously provided from US and UK. Me personally, I have no doubts about that, and I really hope Russian security services will elaborate on this matter and will provide public with more information and will say it openly who was behind this attempt to assassinate Russian president. And I'm quite sure Russian intelligence has all the necessary information on that. So big escalation, by the way, big escalation. And I think even though I was mistaken when I had this little hope that Trump's administration is serious about the escalation, or America First group in US is serious about the escalating with Russia. Okay, I made mistake. They are not serious about it, sir. But at least I was correct when I say that before we see through the escalation, unfortunately, we will observe next phase of escalation, maybe even next several phases of escalation. And only after that, Western ruling class, collective West, globalists, and whoever is running the show in the West will finally come to their senses and finally admit and face the reality that they have lost this proxy war against Russia. And after that, we will probably see the escalation. But this day is not even on the horizon now. And I think Russia at this point really has no option but to continue special military operation until borders of the Western Ukraine are reached. And then once Russian troops will be on the border with the Western Ukraine, Moscow can offer to Warsaw, Budapest, and Bucharest, or Poland, Hungary, and Romania to claim parts of Western Ukraine that used to be, belong to these countries. Otherwise, Moscow will continue and only stop on the borders with these countries. That's how situation gonna continue. And the former Russian president and current deputy chairman of the Security Council, I believe yesterday or day before, even said that buffer zone that Russia is creating might actually stop on the borders of Western Ukraine. So something to keep in mind. Hello everyone, I hope you find informative and useful this short clip from main news update, and if so, please click that like button and leave some commentary just about anything. It might help to deal with the algorithm and reach wider audience. And if you like my work in general and want to support to save this media project, you can assist through several ways. You can donate to this project through PayPal platform or Boosty, also with the crypto currencies, or you can subscribe to my Patreon page and page on Boosty, where I have quite a lot of extra content on regular basis. All the links are on this video in description box and in the pinned comment. And of course, many thanks to everyone who already helped and continues to support. Thank you.